What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Raw Takes Unfiltered with yours truly, Nick Movie AV Impulse, aka Capo, and my second half, my other brother from another mother, Triborough. How you doing, brother?
Chilling. What's good with you?
Yeah, man, just going through the struggles with this damn StreamYard today. Try to get the intro to upload, but it's all good. It's all good. Today we're gonna be talking about some of the things that Math Hoffa has said, which is outlandishly out of control. We're also gonna talk about Teddy Riley and some of the things that he said, along with some other topics that we're gonna bring up. But first, how do you feel about this Teddy Riley situation? Them not getting paid off of Keith Sweat's first album, which is crazy
Allegedly,
to me.
that's what he said.
Allegedly,
I saw the interview with Matt. I saw the interview with Matt Hoffa, and he said a lot of stuff in that interview about
he
his
did.
past and how he started and the hit records he did for artists like Bobby Brown and Keith Sweat. Forming Guy and Blackstreet. I don't think Teddy Riley is lying. I think there's where there's smoke, there's fire, and we know for years like a lot of artists been blackballed by labels and treated unfairly for royalties. I think Teddy Riley might have a point when it comes to what he said and saying that you don't get the royalties off of Keith Sweat's first album. And then I saw a video. I don't know why Jermaine Dupri is jumping in, but I saw
Yeah.
Jermaine Dupri make a video about it, and he's saying that he believes Teddy Riley and Keith Sweat actually commented on the Math Hoffa interview. You know what I'm saying? Because he's saying that he co-produced with Teddy Riley. But either way, even if he did that, I feel like if Teddy Riley wasn't getting paid, he needs to get paid for he needs his publishing, and that first Keith Sweat album was a classic because of Teddy Riley.
Yeah, it's multi platinum now. It's
Yes.
it's up there. I
Yeah.
mean, for a debut album, especially with his unique voice at that time, nobody sounded like you knew as soon as you heard Keith Sweat, you knew that was Keith Sweat.
Facts.
So they I guess from what Teddy was saying is that they get royalties or publishing, but they don't get like the royalties off of it. And I always thought that it was the same thing.
Right.
But I guess not. I guess royalties is a whole different basically royalties like you own it, I guess, whereas publishing every time they play it or it plays on a
Yeah.
stream, you get a little bit of the percentage, which
Right.
I think is crazy that he was saying he only gave the other members of Blackstreet 2 to 3% on the publishing and
Mm.
he owns the rest of it. But they all wanted to go their separate ways. Same with Guy. Greed and money always get in the way of friendship. And, that kind of sucks because they were such a great group, especially
Mm.
even their second album,
Right.
Blackstreet's second album was
Another
dope.
level. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
That was, mhm.
Guy's single was really good. I didn't
Mhm.
care too much for the album,
Right.
um, but their single was good. So
I will say this though: there's two sides to every story, and we wrote for Teddy Riley's side. I have yet to hear from the former members like Dave Hollister and Chauncey Black, Levi
I
Little, Mark Middleton.
there's some interviews out there that I had a couple
Mhm.
of clips, but they wouldn't upload. But there's a couple where they're actually talking a lot of shit about him. They're basically saying that he's the greedy one and that they were
Mhm.
loyal and he even trademarked the quote "no diggity, no doubt" from what he
Right,
was saying at the Math Hoffa interview,
right,
and that he was saying that even if he could literally go to their concert and not even allow them to perform that song because he owns everything on it.
right.
But he said he quote unquote lets them eat the little crumbs, and I'm just like, God, man. So I don't know what bad turmoil is
Mhm.
there, but there's something bad.
Listen,
That's
I love
how
Teddy
I
Riley.
feel.
I think he's a Hall of Famer. Needs to be in the Hall of Fame already.
Yeah.
The common denominator though is Teddy Riley, being that you had two successful R&B groups and both of them
Hmm.
broke up. You know what I'm saying? And that's his groups, and you have to start wondering like, was it the problem Aaron Hall, was the problem Chauncey, and I do believe the him on the part of the publishing and him not getting paid, but you
Yeah.
had two successful R&B groups in the '90s, and they both are no longer together. So I feel like he might be the common denominator for his group.
Yeah. And he never formed a group with Keith Sweat, so thank God for
Right,
that because they probably would have been at it too, and he wouldn't have
right,
stuck up for Keith Sweat because Keith Sweat has a new single. So I haven't heard it, but supposedly he's working on a whole album.
facts.
So I mean, back
Mm,
then I really enjoyed his music. I don't know if he was to stay with
yeah,
that New Jack Swing feel. I don't know how it'd feel. Like I feel like by now Keith Sweat should have evolved versus going back to what works. Because if that's the case, just do a greatest hits. Like everybody is coming out with their old albums, just redoing them of who they
mm,
are now. Um,
right,
CDB did that when he remade his famous album with Postman on it and Spring
hmm,
Love and all that.
right,
He redid it. I don't like it. I don't like the 12-inch vinyl because it just doesn't. I'm just not used to it. But it
right,
sold. It went multi-platinum. And
yeah,
he just literally re-sang the songs with the same beat and a couple of percussion things changed here and there. But that's what I feel like if our legends haven't evolved, then that's what they should be focusing on is you're still eating off those hits.
right,
And if rock and roll can do it, if
hmm,
country can do it, why can R&B not do it? Why can rap especially not do it? And
right,
that's always the biggest common denominator with rock and rap and R&B because they always put that group in a box. You
exactly,
have all the older R&B acts that can get together and sell out 20,000 seats.
right,
But if they were to try to do that with a new album, they probably wouldn't even sell 4,000 seats.
yeah, it's
If
crazy,
you knew you were going there and you weren't going to hear any of their hits, I can guarantee you they wouldn't even sell 5,000 seats. I can
facts,
guarantee it. If it was just new music, you know what I mean? So that's what I think that they should be focusing on if the music isn't elevating.
right,
You know what I mean? The other thing, and listen, I'm not a big. So I used to be a big supporter back when Mech used to be on My Expert Opinion. I
uh-huh.
don't like Math Hoffa. I think he has become an ignorant dude, especially saying that, all this hip hop rappers, it's an open lane. And then why don't you make an album? Because you're garbage at making an album. You're a
Right,
great battle rapper.
hmm,
As far as battle rap goes, I think he's a great dude. I still think Iron Solomon chewed him up in that first battle
hmm,
that they did a long time ago. But since he's such an MC, then come out with an album.
right,
Stop doing a podcast and saying that all these rappers coming out with podcasts is gay. Gay? For real? You're a
crazy,
podcaster and a supposed MC. So
right,
basically, you're talking about yourself. And then he backtracks. Oh, I love Joe and Jada, though. So go and listen to the two interviews with Teddy Riley. I did listen to that one the whole way through. And then he had one with Joe Button's old team that left,
yeah, Rory and Mal,
Rory and Mal.
yes,
Mel. So that one was a good interview too,
mhm,
but I don't agree with some of the things that were said in that
right,
one either. But
yeah,
we're gonna get to that in 1 minute. The other thing I wanted to ask you
mhm.
is how you felt about what Teddy said when Math asked him about Prince and Michael Jackson and if he knew anything about their death.
Well, he did because he when Matt asked him who killed Michael Jackson, he said he can't say. So that right
Exactly.
there is already telling me that you know something, but you can't reveal it because if you do, your life was in danger.
And that's what my wife said when I had her listen to it real quick. And she's
Mhm.
like, yeah, he knows something. But
Yeah,
again, he's saying he wants, he's going to stay making money.
right.
You know what I mean? Like that's what the game That's what the game is.
Hmm.
And we all know Michael's situation. He was on, I mean, he'd been speaking out for years. They
Hmm.
made him change most of his lyrics on Man in the Mirror. They don't really care about us. Like they made him change a lot of lyrics if you go back and look. in the history. So,
Right.
and then Prince, we all knew Prince was calling out, talking about the chemtrails, changed
Mm-hmm.
his name to a symbol
Yep.
because he didn't want the record labels to own his name anymore. He wanted to be released. Everything was his original music, and they're
Right.
just eating off of him.
He
And
was he was
it,
really the first one in the '90s that I heard about to put his music straight to online so that you can buy it from his
yep,
website. He really started that, like Crystal Ball, Emancipation, all those albums during the mid '90s. He really revolutionized that whole thing now. So now when you see like Griselda, DJ Muggs, they selling they album straight to their website, you can directly buy it from the artist. That was Prince.
yeah, yeah. Just like all these black albums, like
Mhm.
Jay-Z's Black Album, Metallica's
Yep.
Black Album, Prince's
Mhm.
Black Album.
Yep.
I mean, there's many more, but all that was inspired by a movie.
Hmm.
And a lot of people don't even know. Metallica even said it in an interview,
Hmm.
Spinal Tap,
Spinal
because
Tap. Yeah.
we are a movie channel as well.
Yes.
We talk music a lot, but
Mhm.
Spinal Tap inspired all these different black albums.
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, the originator is the Beatles because
Yes.
they had a black album as well, along with the white album. But it's crazy how, movies can inspire a lot of
Yeah.
music as well. But
Facts.
I mean, as soon as I heard Teddy said what he said, I knew he knew something. I don't know if he knows much about Prince's death because he didn't bring anything about that up,
Right.
but he definitely knows something about Michael, and he's afraid. He's
Yeah.
scared because
Yeah.
the music industry is powerful. They
Oh,
are
yeah.
the mafia.
Definitely.
They're the mafia of the new age. I mean, they're selling people's whole catalogs. They're selling their own labels to Spotify now and
Right.
Amazon Music, which is crazy. You don't even have to ask the artist.
Yeah.
And then the artist can only sell the catalog that he owns. So it's crazy.
It is.
It's crazy. Mav Hoffa, we got to get on him again.
Yes.
All right. During the Rory and Mel interview,
Uh,
he said Jada Kiss is the best 16, but he does not have a classic album. And I strongly disagree with that wholeheartedly. And I can even take out the mixtapes. I won't even include the legendary mixtapes, the mixtape
oh,
series. Who has one of the greater mixtape series besides Top 5 Dead or Alive? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Every album he's on with anybody, he murders it. Again, I've never heard a whack verse from Jada Kiss. Do you think he has a classic album?
I have to agree with Rory and Mal. I've been saying this for years on different platforms. I feel like Jadakiss is a great lyricist, one of the best all time, top five, top 10, living or dead. His discography though, to me, his best album is his first album, Kiss the Game Goodbye. I don't feel like it's classic tier with Doggy Style and Ready to Die. I feel like it's for him, it's his best album. When you look at his discography, he's not the only one. When you run down his discography, Kiss of Death was dope, a dope sophomore. There's some songs on there that sound like 2004. It sounds outdated.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you had Top Five Dead or Alive. I liked about maybe three songs off of that. You had Last Kiss. Last Kiss was okay. The big song from that album they kept talking about was Letter to Big, because that
Yeah.
was like his love letter to Biggie. The Locks and Big, they were on Bad Boy at the same time. They've done freestyles and unreleased songs. That was like the teaser song from that album that everybody talked about. After that, I don't remember nothing else from Last Kiss. Right? Then you have Ignatius, which
Yeah.
ironically is the anniversary today for that album. Ignatius was a more grown up album, content wise. I know his former manager Ice Pick, rest in peace, he passed away. I believe it was from cancer. And Ice Pick wanted Jada to collaborate with certain artists like John Legend. You had him on that album, and you had more grown up songs. The song that I liked off of that was the song with Pusha T. I forgot the name of that, Hunting Party or something like that. It was called. Um, they have a video for that. I like that song. It was a more grown up Jada Kiss at that point during the pandemic. But when you look at Kiss the Game Goodbye, It has the big hits. You have Knock Yourself Out. You have Put Your Hands Up. You had the Show Discipline with Nas. We Gonna Make It. That's like his signature song now. I've seen him live, and he's done that like the last song on his in his concert.
Mhm.
But there are like a couple skips on that album, and I'm like, when we're talking classic and timeless music, we're talking about albums like Doggy Style and The Chronic and The Purple Tape, Illmatic. Those had no skips. You know what I'm saying? And if you're gonna say this is a classic and you put it on Mount Rushmore, that has to be a timeless album. And I feel like for him, it's his best album, but I don't feel like it's on the same tier as a Ready to Die or Purple Tape. So I have to agree with Rory and Mal about that. But like I said, Jadakiss is not the only artist where they were great lyrically, but they have no classics. I love Cannabis, great lyricist. He has no classic album. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Fabulous,
yeah,
another great lyricist. He has no classic albums. Mixtapes,
well,
his mixtapes were better.
yeah. But again, I've also said about Fabulous that he only goes with what's going on at the time.
Right,
So when you go back and listen to his albums, they're very dated. Um, but I can't agree. I think Kiss of Death, that's not a classic, but
mm,
Kiss the Game Goodbye, there is no skippable tracks. I there's tracks on Doggy Style that I can skip,
right.
but
Really?
yeah. But
Wow.
for me, I can't. I could listen to that album all the way through and not
I've
skip
never heard
any of
nobody
them.
say that there was skips tracks on
For
Doggy Style.
me, there's one or two, and maybe it's just because you know how it goes. I mean,
Right,
you listen to a song and then you hear it on the radio so much, you it just gets to a
right.
point where you just skip it. You know
Okay,
what I mean?
okay. Let's say you buy Doggy Style and pass the singles. If you skip the singles and you play like the album tracks, you felt like the album tracks were skippable too.
I can't remember the name of the song, but there is for me Doggy
Wow.
Style. Yes, has at least
Okay.
two skippables.
Right.
Um, whereas Kiss the Game Goodbye, no way. It doesn't sound dated to me. It still sounds accurate.
Mm,
Um, besides We Gonna Make It, Show Discipline, the song with DMX was fire.
those are-
Um, what was the other one? I forget the names of them, but like where he talks about being him growing up, you know what I'm
that was
saying? That was fire.
no, not by your side.
What
That
you
might be by
ride for, what you die for, that was my shit.
that was fire. Yeah.
Because 8 Ball and MJG, I
Hmm.
mean, I still think they're one of the most underrated Southern, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
acts, rap duo out there. Um, to me, to just show discipline. Come on,
Hmm.
man. Like to me, shrimp fettuccine and penne alla vodka came here talking slick. This is not a song that I could skip. And the way that he flipped, Jenny's Got a Gun,
That was
that
fire.
was crazy.
Yeah.
And that's the second song you get smacked with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
when Jada's gotta, come on, man, you
Yeah.
can't. There's no skippable
The
tracks.
song you're talking about is "Feel Me." That was
Feel
Alchemist.
me. There we go. There
Yeah.
we go. I just don't I don't feel like there's a skippable track on there. There are so many lines and metaphors that probably still go over people's heads. So for me, it's a classic. I put it right up there. Purple Tape. I put it right up there with Supreme Clientele. I put it up there with Illmatic. Even though I'm a sophomore guy when it comes to Nas,
Mhm.
um, I don't think there's any skippable tracks on the first two Nas albums.
I agree.
Stillmatic to me is not a classic. So
Really, I've never heard nobody say that. That's crazy.
I disagree with Rory on that one where they kept saying Stillmatic. They didn't say Illmatic. And I don't
Well, I
think
know Rory is younger, and I think
yeah,
maybe that's why because he grew up in the Stillmatic era and not
yeah,
Illmatic.
he's 10 years younger than I am and I'm 44. So
Right.
I mean I get it. Everybody has their own differences, just like somebody commented on our raw, our podcast page and
Mhm.
said, "Oh, a goat means one person." No, to me, a GOAT is somebody that is the greatest of all time,
Mm,
but it depends on the time period. Like there could be multiple GOATs.
right.
You know, to me, Jay-Z will always be on the top tier tower,
Yeah.
but everybody else, you know, at one point in time, they were the GOAT. So you can't take that title from them.
No, he said Stillmatic, not Illmatic. He said Stillmatic is
Yeah,
not
I
a classic.
said Stillmatic.
Yeah, I've never heard
It,
nobody say
it,
that. That's wild.
yeah, to me, it's just, you know, what goes around comes around is probably like one of my favorite songs on there. Of course,
Mm,
Ether, as much as I hate to admit it, you know, that's one of my favorites on there.
yeah.
But you know, it's
And like
it's it's not a classic. It's just not for me.
see,
I'd rather I'd rather listen to his sophomore album.
the thing with Stillmatic, it was a bounce back from Nostradamus because everybody didn't like that album. So he came back, and then Jay-Z woke him up with the takeover. Like he
And
woke him up, and he's like, "Yo, I want to battle you. You're the best. I'm a battle the best." And he came out
yeah,
with
and I'm
Stillmatic.
glad
It was a great album, and then he followed up with that with Godson. Godson is so underrated. That was a solid album.
it was solid. There's a
Yeah.
lot of skippable tracks on that shit, but it's
What,
it's 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 solid. What?
bro?
Listen, all right.
Yeah,
Look,
you're more Jay Z than me. Then, and I
no,
love
no,
Jay.
no, no, no. What have I always told you? There is more trash Jay Z albums than there are good albums. There's a difference between
I felt like
having
at
a
one
good.
point him and Nas was tied for like bad albums, but then Nas surpassed him with the 6 album run with Hit Boy.
Yeah, hip that yeah, you can't. Those is classics.
Yeah,
I
those are
love. I haven't heard, and he was in his bag.
yes,
This boy went from the definition of Gucci to Louis Vuitton. You know what I mean? Because he stepped his game up 8 times more, and I don't even know
right,
how you can possibly do that.
right.
You know, but again, I just,
So
you know,
so so
that's
you
me.
so you feel like so you okay so you don't like both Stillmatic and Godson.
I'm just not a big fan. I'm not saying I don't like him. I'm just not a
Okay,
big fan.
and you don't think they're
I
classic
think
though.
I don't put it in a class bracket. No,
Okay.
no, that's like saying, you know, only built for Cuban Links 2 is a classic. It's not a classic, but it's a
Mm,
dope follow-up.
no, I think it's a great. I think of all the
Too many songs.
well, I
Like
won't say all the
too
sequels.
much.
I'll say like without like a trilogy because Carter the first like 3 Carters were like a trilogy. That was like the best shit that Wayne did, right? And then you got the In My Lifetime trilogy. That was great. But I will say like out of all the sequels in recent years, I feel like Cuban Link 2 was the best one because when Do or Die came out part 2, it was okay. It wasn't great,
Yeah.
and AZ made us wait for like 25 years for that sequel, right?
Yeah.
Muddy Waters 2 was dope. You know how Redman did it. It's in the same like universe of the first one,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's a classic. I feel like Cuban Link 2 was a
No.
classic. I mean, the first Cuban Link had like 22 songs on it. You know what I'm saying? So it's nothing that wasn't done by Raekwon before, and he had like a different chefs cooking up. RZA and Dr. Dre was on that. Pete Rock, Dilla. I thought it was a great sequel.
It's a great sequel, but again, I can't put it in a classic.
Kenny
I
Mack
just
said Godson is mid. I've never heard nobody say
yeah.
that Godson was mid.
I was waiting for you to be done so I could say, but
Wow,
I
that's
mean,
crazy,
I'm
bro.
just I thought I was the only one, and for it being, you know, I know I still have the original CD, so I have
Mhm.
the second
Yeah,
album, which had like a couple of
bonus.
singles or a
Yeah,
couple songs that
mhm.
weren't on the original
Right.
album, and I was just when I put it in, I was just kind of disappointed.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Even back then, even with the system bumping in the car,
Yeah.
I was still a little, I was a little disappointed.
Wow.
I don't think it's his best, you know, and I think his worst is Nostradamus.
Yeah. No, no,
I,
no.
I
I think his worst is Nasir with Kanye West. I think that's his worst album ever. Like not Nostradamus got some joints, but it wasn't the double album we wanted. Like that got leaked to the streets, unfortunately, and we
yeah,
never got that until he put it
yeah,
out later, like years later. But
yeah,
but
but
Nasir, right? When at that time when Kanye West moves out to Wyoming, He's already a Kardashian, and he's doing those
Yeah.
fire albums. The Daytona with Pusha T. He's doing Kids See Ghosts with Kid Cudi. Tiana Taylor album. He's doing his own album, and then he's doing the Nas album. I'm like, we expecting we gonna get classic Kanye West with Nas. We never heard that before, and he gave us crap. There might be like two
Yeah.
good songs on that whole album that I
I
like.
even forgot. I even forgot that was an album. So yeah,
Yeah,
then maybe that one's the worst, and then I'll put Nasir
not right. That's another.
Nostradamus right after. And I was so hyped because that album cover was so dope.
Yeah,
Because back when we were growing up, again, we're from the Blockbuster era
yeah.
where you had to look at the cover first and be like, should I
Mm-hmm,
take the risk? Should I chance
mm-hmm,
it? You know what I mean? So you were really, like, okay, and that was the one thing. Even though I think almost every album on No Limit was trash, their
mm.
album covers were fun.
Yeah,
They were
fire.
adventurous, and the
Yeah,
same with Cash Money. Like looking at Lil Wayne's, 500 Degrees,
mm-hmm,
Juvenile's 400 Degrees. All those album covers were eye catching.
yeah.
So it made you want to buy the album. This is the
Mm-hmm,
reason why we know so many B movies, whether they were horror, whether they were thrillers, hood movies,
right.
because when we went into Blockbuster, it was okay, which one A looks interesting, and then B, which one is available. Because if you went on the weekends,
Yeah,
that whole new release wall was gone. So you just had to pick
mm,
something that was
right.
appealing to your vision
Right.
first.
Right.
And when I picked up that album, I was like, let's go. And then
Right.
nothing. like,
Kenny
like
Mac
the
said,
hardest song on there is
mm.
144, 245, 3 loaded clips.
Oh,
I
shoot
mean, I
him up,
think that,
shoot him up.
yeah, shoot 'em up. That's like the
Yeah.
dopest one. White Album was my song off of Nas. White Label.
I don't even remember that drink.
I don't even, I forgot that album even existed. So that should be
Yeah,
telling you something because I've
yeah.
listened to every Nas album, especially Hit Boys,
Mm,
like his collaborations. I was listening to that earlier when I was working. I
mm,
just I threw in my I have a Nas, Ghostface, and Jay-Z playlist that
goodness.
because to me those are god tier
Right.
MCs.
Mm,
I also have a Griselda playlist. So anybody
mm,
that's associated with Griselda, Black Mafia family, or Black Soprano family,
yes.
all these, they're all in the same,
Wrong
and
street.
RJ Payne falls into
Yeah,
that for me. But the thing is, we're only getting 45-second verses from him. So
yeah.
he
He,
needs to do an album already,
yeah.
man.
He
Payne
put
needs
out
to
a
do,
he put out a 3-song EP last year with Eric Sermon that was pretty dope. I'm like, can we get like a full album with Eric Sermon?
yeah, it would be nice. I am looking forward to, although we talked about this, so let's jump into this subject real
Right.
quick. We haven't heard anything album wise since Reasonable Drought,
Mm-hmm.
but we do have Stove God Cooks finally dropping his album after all of the beef label situation.
Right.
What do you think it's going to sound like with just Swiss beats on it? Because
I don't
I'll
know.
tell you the truth, his single Now
Mm,
versus Rolls Royce Brake Lights
mm.
when Reasonable Drought came out, no competition. I
See,
don't like the
the
beat like
thing
that.
is, Welcome to My Garden. A lot of people love it. It's getting a lot of play, a lot of promotion. What will the album sound like? I have no idea because this is a different Swiss Beats now compared to end of the '90s, early 2000s when he was doing the stuff with DMX and Rough Riders. I don't know what we're gonna get. I think we're gonna get a lot of drumless, avant-garde Swizz. Like he's in a ever since he's been, doing like the paintings and DJing at the painting shows and stuff. He's been in an avant-garde era. You know what I'm saying? Like he's wearing suits. The music sounds different. It's not hitting like Rough Riders Swizz. I miss Rough Riders Swizz. We haven't gotten
Yeah,
that in like 20 years, like since
yeah,
DMX, right?
yeah.
With Stove God is not that type of artist where, like, if you listen to Reasonable Drought and the collabs he's done with Griselda and with the clips last year, like he is drug talk. We want to
Yeah.
hear some boom bap. We want to hear some swizzy bass lines, and I don't know what we're gonna get with this album. And the fact that I saw a lot of comments saying, well, why did Stove God choose to work with Swizz and not, Conductor Williams or J.R. Swift. So, the usual batch of producers, Alchemist Derringer, that he's known to work with in the past. Why all of
Yeah.
a sudden this whole album is with Swizz Beats, and then he changed the title from Goat Stamp to All About Me or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's he wants the mainstream audience. He wants that. It's clearly that's what it is. Because if it wasn't, you wouldn't be working doing the whole album with Swizz Beats. This came out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So the type of sound we're gonna get, I have no idea. I'm clueless. I just hope it's good. Because if it's not, we know who we're gonna blame. The same way we blamed Wyclef for Cannabis, and we blame Wyclef for City High, and
Yeah.
the Product G&B, they didn't even drop an album. We blame Wyclef for a lot of John Forte, rest in peace. Poli Sci was all Wyclef. We blame Wyclef for those albums.
Yeah.
If this album doesn't hit, coming off for a reasonable drop, we're gonna blame Swizz Beatz
Yeah.
for this.
And that
So I don't know what we're gonna get.
and that's the problem. When again, I'm a DMX sophomore guy. I
Mhm.
love Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of
Yes.
My Blood.
Mhm.
But when you look at that, basically that trilogy of we're going from that Swiss Beats,
Mhm.
that fire, that passion, to now a comfortable, I'm gonna play you something, you better figure it out. And I just don't think him and Swiss match. Just like Benny being with Jermaine Dupri,
Mhm.
again, I'm not feeling the beat.
Mhm.
I like Benny. Benny's my favorite out of Griselda. And then I mean, right there at the borderline, it's getting tough. It's getting tougher because if you look at
Mhm.
discography,
Yeah.
I think Conway has the better
Yeah.
discography.
I agree. Yeah.
And I have not heard an album from him or a mixtape or anything producer wise that he's just worked with, a solid producer
Mhm.
that I've wanted to not listen to again.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And what attracted me to start listening to him more, besides you saying it, because I'm a big Benny fan.
Right.
I mean, I made a video about the damn guy.
Mhm.
So, when I heard Piano Love, that
Mhm.
song,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, maybe, maybe my brother Triborough got a point. Let me go start listening to all his albums. And
Mhm.
I literally backtracked to before he got shot. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's not an album that I can say that is weak.
Facts.
They're not they're not all classics. They're not
Right.
all 100%. There are skippables, but Benny's, there are Excalibur, whatever the hell he called that album, garbage. You know, Summertime Butch 2, the
Mhm.
second you put that white boy on there,
Mhm.
garbage. I
Mhm.
don't want to hear that guy. Get him
Mhm.
off of Griselda, please. Let him run in his own lane. I don't want to hear his voice anymore. But I don't know, man. I don't think this is gonna live up to reasonable.
The
I really
thing,
don't.
Kenny Mack said everyone producer thinks Alchemist or Madlib. The thing with that is, I can't fault Alchemist. Alchemist has been on a run from '99 till
Yes,
now. He's never had a bad product or a bad beat.
never.
I've been saying this. He is the GOAT of this era. It's not Hit Boy. It's
Look,
not Primo no more. It's not Pete Rock. It's Alchemist.
look how
He is the new
Alchemist.
GOAT when it comes to
Yeah,
producing.
yeah. Look at what Alchemist did for Freddie. Nobody wanted to fuck with Freddie.
Exactly.
Nobody. When Freddie bounced from Jeezy and was separating himself from all that and went in his own lane, none of these producers wanted to bother with Freddie. And now look at him. Freddie's
Freddie,
on fire. Freddie
Freddie,
Gibbs is on fire.
yes. Freddie is a dope MC and artist in his own right, but his best
Yeah,
stuff is with either Madlib or Alchemist. The albums
yeah.
outside of that, I've heard them. They're not as great. When
No,
you
no.
listen to Pinata, Pinata was a classic. Bandana, just as another classic. That's his two best albums with Madlib, and then not even the stuff that he's done already with. with Alchemist. Alchemist gave him his first Grammy nomination.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's his two best producers.
And what I love, and I remember we talked about this a couple of months ago. What I love is that if you are not told this is an Alchemist beat, sometimes it's hard to even be like, that was Alchemist,
Right.
because he can touch any
Mm-hmm.
lane of
Yeah.
hip hop.
Facts.
And he can make it sound like it's a Large Professor beat, a
Mm-hmm.
Q-Tip beat, an Eric Sermon beat. I mean, he can take the best of the best
Yeah.
and elevate their style.
Alchemist right now to me is he's gone to that territory where we saw Timberland go and the Neptunes, Pharrell, um, this Rick Rubin it also because Rick Rubin came from like the rock genre,
Yeah,
and then what he did for hip hop with the Beastie Boys and Run DMC, for Eminem, for Jay-Z,
99
not no problem.
Problems.
Yeah, classic. So
Classic.
he's in a special group that he can do any genre right about now. We're still waiting for that Erykah Badu album. I think that's gonna be, if that comes out this year. I'm saying Just Got R&B album is the best. If Erykah come out with Alchemist this year, that might be the best R&B album this year.
Yeah, because I'm waiting for that. And again, he can touch. He basically, I think what he does, besides having a huge catalog of beats,
Mm-hmm.
I think what he does is he brings the artist in the studio and says, sing me something, spit
Right,
me something. What is your mood? And I
right.
think he can create it just right there.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean? So I just think right now, him, Hit Boy, they're just the ones that everybody's playing with right now.
right. And
Because
I mean, I no disrespect to Hit Boy. Hit Boy is giving us a 6 album run with Nas.
yeah, and they're
That's
and it's
you might
great.
never see that again, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the Burden of Proof with Benny, classic album, right? And then he's done it. He's done an album with Alchemist, that Goldfish that came out last year. That was pretty dope. Then he's had a album with the Game and his own father on Hit Boy's own father had a little 9-track album that was pretty fire. So he can work. He's already showed you can work with different artists as well. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So it's like I can't fault Alchemist for being the go-to guy. Like this is the same issue that CO Smooth had with Pete Rock back in the '90s when Pete Rock,
Yes.
everybody was calling Pete for a beat because they heard the Shut 'Em Down remix like they did for Public Enemy, and they started
Mm-hmm.
getting phone calls, and CO was in his feelings after that, and he was the go-to producer at that point. Now it's
Mm-hmm.
Alchemist. So I
Yeah.
think Alchemist, that just go to show you the longevity and the staying power that he has now.
Yeah. It's crazy. And I, personally, and again, Burden of Proof is not Benny's best album.
You don't think so?
But
What's his
no,
best album?
no.
What's Benny's best album?
All right, we talking album or we talking mixtape? Because I
Album.
think Tana Talk 4 is his best.
Ooh.
The Plugs I Met
Mhm.
2, Fire.
Yeah.
And then the one that he did after Burden of Proof, album wise, I can't remember the name right now.
Was that the
But
the Def Jam debut?
yes,
That
everybody doesn't like it. I
mhm.
love it.
Tenor
You know,
Talk 3. Tenor Talk 3. That's
Tana
that
Talk
was
3
like
was
my,
dope too,
yeah, that was great.
but four
Yeah.
is my
4 was
shit.
fire. Yeah, definitely.
And so, but everybody's different. Again,
Right.
his discography is nowhere near Conway's, but he's still my favorite. Again, I've never heard him on a feature
Mhm.
or Conway. I won't talk about Wes, but I've never heard them whack
Mhm.
on anybody's feature. I mean,
Right.
listen to the joint they did. Even Wes did his thing with DMX,
Mhm. Yeah.
on DMX's last album.
Mhm.
That track was fire.
Yeah.
Everything that Conway, Benny, and Styles, like,
Mhm.
everything they touch is just, it's fire.
Right.
And then they throw in that white boy, and I just skip the track. But I always forget his name. I don't even want to know his name.
OT.
Yeah, OT the God or whatever.
Something like
Whatever.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Eminem. Shut up. Um. Anyways, maybe one day if he clears up his voice, gets that mucus out, I might take some interest in listening to him. But I'm sorry, I don't think he went as hard as he's saying in the streets. When I
Right.
when I told my story and told him how I used to be a hustler, I never said I moved keys,
Mm,
and I said we had almost got busted before we
mm,
got to get in a pound.
right,
I'm not lying about this shit
right,
because again, at any given point, somebody can come up and be like, "Yo, I know I've been knowing him since he was in diapers. He's a liar." Blah blah blah. Whatever. But whatever I say, you ain't gonna catch me out there. You know what I mean? So
right,
I wanted to be a dope boy, and I was built for the game. I thought, and then I
right.
realized I wasn't. You know what I'm saying?
At least you're
Salute.
honest about it.
Yeah, and I can't. I'm not again. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yeah, man, I was moving keys and pounds, and I wasn't. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like we almost got there. We almost graduated. We were up there, and
Right.
once that cop told me what he told me, I'm out. And my boy
Yeah.
was out. He went back to New York. So that's just that's the name of the game. You learn to get out when that opportunity is given to you. And I was out.
I am curious to hear what Jermaine has with Benny because Jermaine he's done it all. He's worked with Jay-Z. He's
Yeah.
worked with Nas. He worked with everybody. So I want to hear what he got with Benny. What he could
I
give Benny.
I do like the single.
Mm,
I'm just not crazy about having Jermaine Dupri. I don't
right.
know. I don't know if I could do him on a whole album. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like this is an old Jermaine Dupri.
Hmm.
He's in a new bag again. I'm kind of feeling the same way we're feeling about Swiss. Like
Right.
I really don't think he's had anything like hard hitting great since like
I'm
besides R&B, maybe
he, yeah,
Jay-Z's joint.
he gave a hit to Ari Lennox. He gave a hit to Money Long in recent
No, I'm
years.
saying like whole albums.
Oh, like whole
You
albums?
know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yeah.
Like the Brat, great
Mhm.
album. Crisscross when we were all growing up. We can't
Yeah.
front.
Yes.
Crisscross
Workers for
was the shit.
yeah.
I mean, we're talking that classic production from back then.
Right.
What has he given us lately as a whole production that is memorable or credible?
I did. He did an EP with Currency that came out last year, or year before last. It came out, and it was vintage JD production. And Currency is the perfect artist, because he has that New Orleans accent. He can work with anybody. He's done it already. But again, it wasn't memorable because it wasn't promoted. It wasn't promoted enough by Jermaine and Currency. You know what I'm
Are
saying?
you saying so, Kenny? Are you saying you don't know who Swiss and JD are? I
No,
mean,
he's saying he
he's
don't.
saying
He's
okay,
saying like what we're saying. We don't
yeah.
know what they're gonna give these artists in this era. I don't know what Swizz is gonna give Stove Guard. I mean, one song is good. If it's a 15-track album, what is it gonna sound like? Same with Jermaine. I don't know what Jermaine is gonna give Benny.
Bring
I
it from
have an
Benny.
idea because I know Jermaine he's still putting out records now. But
Hmm.
Swizz is like here and there he'll drop a record. But I don't know for a whole album. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's what I'm worried about, and I think you're right. I think because at this point, Stove God isn't really making probably what he wants to make. Um, I think he's gonna aim more commercial than keeping it 100 with his fans, which I get. I get, and I think that's the direction that Benny kind of went. You know what I mean? Like first mixtapes, first albums. I mean, they were great, and then like he's slowly starting to just fall into that uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I feel like even today,
Mm-hmm.
Conway don't sound comfortable. And I know he is.
Mm-hmm.
I know they're making bread. They're all making money.
Yeah.
But he don't sound comfortable. He's coming 100% even on the new album. And I
Mm-hmm.
told you to listen to the new
Yes.
album
It's
because I was
fire.
on it
It's
day
fire.
one.
Yeah.
And he still sounds like he's hungry.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that.
Right.
But we are hip hop heads. We're not looking at it as this is going to be a 15-minute album and then
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be done with it for the next forever.
Right.
Because that's how this world works. I can guarantee you the biggest Drake fan out there
Mm-hmm.
can't tell you all his albums in order,
Right.
what their favorite songs were. What production was, they don't care.
Right.
It was a hit at that time. On to the next one. Where's the
Right.
next one? The next one. The next one. Where's the LP? Where's an LP? Where's a
Mhm.
double disc? That's what everybody wants.
The
So
thing is, if Swizz is crafting an album for Stove God and he's making it like like a story, there's a story behind it, a narrative, and you're bringing the drug talk to mainstream America, I think maybe it could do numbers because I feel like the reason why the Clips album last year did so well, they didn't, as far as lyrics, they didn't do nothing different because they always been
no.
about the drug talk.
Yep.
The thing was they had the big album rollout. That was the main difference. And being that it's been what over 15 years since we had the Malice and Pusha, and it was like a reunion, and it was people were glad to see them come back because we didn't think they were going to come back. We thought
No.
once Malice left, he was going to live a regular life, quiet, and he himself said in interviews that he got tired of the industry and he needed a
Yeah.
break and he needed to raise his kids and their parents had both their parents had died. You know what I'm saying? So he took a lot of time off, and his music when he was no Malice, he was doing everything that wasn't Pusha T, that wasn't the
Yeah.
Clips. But when he came
Yeah.
back, it was like a reunion. So I think that had a main reason of why it did so well. But Stove God is doing the same thing that the Clips is doing as far as content.
Yep.
But I feel like it could work if Swizz make it a narrative, like is a storyline behind this guy that we know, Stove God cooks. He has to do it like that because if you just throw out an album with Stove God and the lyrics don't match up with the production, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
It's gonna be DMX's album Year of the Dog. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, unfortunately, that's what it could turn into.
Yeah.
Um, and real quick, I just want to shout out to the shirt. I love the shirt, baby.
Oh yes. Listen,
Smith
Wesson,
and
yeah.
Wesson, man. What they
Oh,
know
come on.
about that?
A modern day classic. Ninth Wonder, Soul Council. Come on,
Yes.
man.
So let's get on this little Yachty kick.
Oh God. Do we want to read the chat first? And I really want to stick it to Little Yachty because this dude, he's
uh
like the shit that he's saying is just like crazy.
yes, Kenny, I can agree with
Fake is
you.
a fake Fonte. Well, yeah, well, he was influenced by Fonte. We know that.
Yeah. Um, listen, I think Drake is a great entertainer.
Hmm.
Um, unfortunately, when you look at an album and a song, like anybody who has Amazon Music or Spotify, you can look up who is the producer,
Hmm.
who is the songwriter, who is on the song, lyrics, all that, right?
Right.
Just go take a look at any random Drake song, and there's at least three or more writers on a solo Drake song.
Right.
He is a great entertainer. I've never believed he was a tough guy. He can spit some dope lyrics, but those lyrics are not coming from him. Maybe he writes a bar or two,
Right.
but he's from Degrassi, and that's all I still see.
See, I didn't
That's
even
all
know
I
that.
ever
Like,
see.
like my introduction to Drake was I think it was the best I ever had song.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
just
watch
like,
the Basti. I didn't know he was an actor.
t- to me, Drake has just become another Rick Ross. I can never respect Rick Ross. I think he is a dope lyricist. He has
Mm,
gotten corny over the years because it's just always the same Maybach and bitches, and that's great. Okay, we know. But he stole an entire man's life, not lifestyle,
right.
life, and based his life off of the real Freeway
Right.
Rick Ross. So, or Freeway Rick, and it's crazy that you can hear it in the music. Everything is legit, except he changed it from, to being in Florida.
Hmm.
Um, and then all the artists that he has brought on, none of them went anywhere except for Meek
And Wale.
and
Wale.
Wale. Well, but Wale changed. He left.
Yeah.
And that's why he went somewhere. If he'd have stayed
Hmm.
at Rick's record label, where's Torch?
I've always said that Wale should have never signed with MMG. I understand why he did it,
Yeah. And I
but
understand why he
I
did
didn't
it.
feel like his music fit that label.
But how Meek Mill let Drake beat him in a battle. I will never understand that. I don't care how many. I don't know how that even happened, and it made his entire he Drake just shut down his whole career.
Right.
Because you go from dreams to nightmares to a battle with Drake, and you never have gotten to that level ever again. Um, Torch, I think, was one of the dopest MCs he had coming up. Gunplay was trash.
Yeah.
And I mean, everybody that was on MMG is nowhere. They're
Right.
nowhere. Rick is the only one that benefited from it off of fabricating his life. And again, I don't think Rick Ross was a tough guy. Even though I know people that swear up and down because they're from Florida. I know
Right.
Rick Ross personally. He was one not to be messed with. Blah, 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 blah. That's fine. Okay, that's great. Anybody can be not messed with. But when you take somebody's entire life and that is what made you who you are, at least behind the scenes, pay that man his fucking royalties.
Right. I
He
agree.
had to take you to court 2, 3 times, and you still won because you got judges in your back pocket. He's richer than Freeway Rick is, which is sad.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But whatever. And Meek Mills is bleh. Yeah. Yeah. I haven't liked him since Dreams and Nightmares. Yeah, that was a
That's
bad
best
look for
album.
him.
That is his best album.
Yeah, but getting eaten up by Drake, that was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how it probably took 7 or 8 writers to get that one diss song, but he got him.
Right.
He got him, you know.
Mhm.
And even with Kendrick Lamar eating up Drake,
Mhm.
which I still think Family Matters was a better song.
Mm.
I don't like that Not Like Us bullshit. I thought
Oh
that was
wow.
the wrong single
You
to
dropping
blow
all
up.
type of you're dropping shockers tonight. I did not. I've never heard nobody say that. I did not know that. Salute to
I think
Ray
Family
Lance.
Matters is a better
Wow.
diss than
Over
Not
not
Like
like
Us.
us.
Not Like
Wow.
Us is all right. I just think it got overhyped.
Bro, not like us.
Please.
Not only was it a mainstream certifiable hit, it's a diss record that won Grammys. We never seen that. A diss record that won
Okay,
Grammys.
but if the allegations are true on both ends, and I
Mm,
think every artist is doing this by now,
mm.
it's all bots.
What-
Boosted up the numbers.
Yeah, yeah. But regardless of the numbers, to have a diss record go mainstream like that and win a Grammy, like, can you imagine if Pocket won for Hit 'Em Up, if Jay had won for The Takeover or Nas won for Ether? You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
and that's another thing I would like to say too. Anybody who is saying that 50 Cent and T.I. and this whole beef, because I didn't get to say it last week. By the way,
Right.
please go rewatch the episode. My brother did a good job while I was going through some family issues. So he held it down. He had 2 other guests that popped in. Great show.
Salute to Gervais and Mark Nash.
The whole hour and 50 minutes, I was entertained.
Thank you.
But anybody who says that 50 and Ti and his son, which he looks like a guppy, I laugh every time I see his son. Um, if
Yeah.
you think if you think that those disses are going way too far because you're talking about somebody's wife, somebody's mom,
Mhm,
go listen to No Vaseline. Go
mhm.
listen
Yep.
to Hit 'Em Up.
Right.
Go listen to Jay-Z's, even though I'm not a big fan of it. But I mean, left condoms on your baby seat.
Mhm.
Come on, man.
Yep.
Like, we have gotten a lot worse than what this petty go dig up your mom. That would have been said in the early 90s, let alone the mid 90s, early 2000s. I mean, dudes were literally talking about duct taping your kids.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Go
Mhm.
listen to eh, eh, Destiny Lays in My Hands. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Nas's daughter.
Yeah.
So I mean, yo, disrespect and hip hop have always gone hand in hand.
Right.
Just like, every time LL was featured on somebody else's track, rap wise, He went for their throats.
Uh-huh.
It's just part of the game.
Right.
So anybody that's saying that this is going too far and all that shit, shut up. You
It's
don't
a.
know
It,
hip hop.
I agree with Kenny Mack. It's a diss song that had a bop. You could dance to no, Not Like Us. Like kids know that song because of
Yes.
the. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like you
And
got
that's
kids
but
that know that song. They have babies
okay.
that know it. I've seen babies on TikTok make videos, and the minute the song come on, they dancing to it. They know that song.
See, this is why I hate speaking my mind, man. It's
I'm
because
no, no, no.
it's a,
I love the
it's just
fact
my
that
opinion.
you bring your opinions and your thoughts, and you don't back down from it. I just never heard nobody
It's
say
just
a lot of stuff that you said tonight.
Family Matters is a better song.
Wow. Okay.
That's just it. I'm not going to change my mind because I want to be cool.
Even though he had like 10 different writers that might have took him like a whole week to write.
Okay, and I get that, but I think Family Matters was the better diss, all in all.
His only shot at Kendrick was that.
Yeah, yeah. Look, Ray, look,
Ray
nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. Okay,
Ray
I'm
Ray,
not
Ray
gonna
has a
stop.
comment.
I'm not gonna stop. Who
In
Does
Luke
Means was dope.
NLE.
West Coast vibe. That is tough. Mm. Okay, I get it. I get it. Okay, not like us. Y'all like. Okay, I get
Listen,
it. I understand, but it's just not me.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying? It's just not me.
Can we agree that Drake got demolished in that battle though?
Oh yeah, no,
He
he
got
did.
slaughtered.
He did. He did.
And we knew
He
that was
got
gonna happen. I knew. I'm like, bro, I'm like,
he got destroyed.
when they put him in the big three, I'm like, he's only in there because of the sales. He's not in there lyrically.
Yeah,
He's not better than Cole. He's not better than Kendrick.
yeah. But
Bro,
damn, bro, don't like rock. Look, it's not that I don't like them.
no,
Again, they're
no,
great entertainers.
that's not true. I like Drake's early stuff. Like everything from like So Far
Yes,
Gone to like Nothing Was the Same. I think he fell off
and
after that.
and I mean, like when you got the weekend writing shit for you, come on,
And he
bro. I
fell out with
mean,
the Weekend. Him and the Weekend fell out.
yeah, that's why they fell out because the weekend ain't getting his royalties.
Bro.
So how am I supposed to say that I like somebody? He's a great entertainer.
Mhm.
Rick Ross is a great entertainer and a lyricist,
He
except
has
for
a
his latest stuff.
he has a better discography than Drake. I will say
Yes,
Rick Ross' discography is stronger than
yes.
Drake's.
But I mean, I liked the Port of Miami. I wasn't big on Trilla. I
Mhm.
love I
Deep in
think
rap,
his Deeper Than Rap is a very slept on
definitely,
album. I think it
definitely.
does not get enough recognition.
I agree.
And 50 literally demolished his image.
Mhm.
So
During that time, Deeper Than Rap it was the better album than Before I Self Destruct
yes,
to me.
yeah, that was terrible. I don't know how else to put it, but I mean, I think that album is very slept on.
Yeah,
Rick Ross had a lot of fun on that album. You could tell he was just having fun,
yeah.
and then finally lets out the truth
Mhm.
on the last track where he talks about all that being a CEO,
Mhm.
making sure there's food. But again, he had to add in the kilos in there. Again, to me, I've
He-
always said this, and I don't care who disagrees,
mhm.
because it would have been harder for them to dig this out than it would have for 50 to find out that he was a CEO. If I would have got caught out there being a CEO, I'd have been like,
Mhm.
yeah, I was a CEO. I fed my family at one point. But you see, that's where I met my connect. And
Right,
that's why I left being a CEO, because I knew I could make more money off of these bricks. You know what
right.
I'm saying? There's your lie. And then they can't go and certify that.
Mhm.
There's no way you can go to a prison and be like, yo,
CEO.
did you know Rick Ross? Did you know Rick Ross? Did you know Rick Ross? Did you know
Right.
Rick Ross? Did you know? Nobody's going to say yes. So for
But
me,
I
if
don't
you're just going to
even with that.
lie,
Even when the photo came out, I think like I agree with Mark. Like he got more popular during that 50 beef. You know what I'm saying?
yes,
Whereas the thing with I think 50, like especially now, when he trolls people online, it's like he's trying to like erase what they've done. Like Jim Jones Say what you want about him. He got hit records. He had to he was a self-made artist because he didn't get that offer from Rockefeller like Jewels did in Cameron.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So he had to really hustle in the streets and put out his own music to where he
Yeah.
became like an executive at Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
And then over at Koch he had a deal and he did his thing. Like salute to Jim Jones for that.
Yeah. But again, if I was a rapper and I came out and I didn't tell anybody I was a CEO, okay. Again, if you're going to lie about it, at least make it sound truthful. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Again, they can't go and verify. That's all he had to say. Whoever his team was, because in his book, he said that his team
Mm.
was the one that told him to go and lie and say the picture was photoshopped. That's not really him. We all know that was your ugly ass. So listen,
Uh,
I would have been like, yes, I was
mm.
a CEO, but that's where I learned the drug game.
Right.
That's where I found my connect. And at least you could have had a little bit more credibility because it would have been harder to track down. 50 got paperwork and it was over.
But it didn't stop Ross. I think Ross,
No,
like I said, Ross was putting out the best music at that time compared to
no,
50.
it didn't stop. And the only thing that I disagree with Ross is that he should have paid royalties to Freeway Rick Ross. I'm sorry. He should
Right.
have paid it to Freeway Rick. Freeway went to uh, Rick's prison and asked him if he could use his name Freeway before he did it.
Mark is saying that he used that story as him being a young CEO. And I mean I only saw I remember seeing the picture online. So I didn't know like the backstory and what happened with that.
Yeah, we get that. It says CEO. I get that. CEO.
Right.
But what I'm saying is he at least could have fabricated a story, but still has some truth in there of being a correctional officer. You can't hide paperwork.
I mean, but even if he was, all right, let's say he lied about it and we just run out. Like even now, would that affect him? I don't even think that would affect him anymore at this point.
No, no,
You know what I'm saying? That's
no.
what like the people that want to hear like the true story. Maybe we'll get like a documentary of Rick Ross one day, like the rapper Rick Ross, and he
Yeah,
can explain that whole thing in the documentary.
yeah. And I wish he would, but I don't think we're gonna get that. He's eating. He's got Wingstop. He's got
Right,
multiple businesses. I mean, you know, people like Shaq. He's like Shaq. He has these businesses that you don't even know he owns.
right,
He only promotes Wingstop and Bel Air, but
mm,
he owns multiple businesses. He's a smart businessman. I'm not
right.
going to take that from
We-
him. And he's a great entertainer and he's a lyricist.
Right. When you
But
look at Eve, right? Eve used to be a stripper. That never affected her. She's one of the best female lyricists all time to me.
okay,
You disagree on that?
no, I'm
Oh, okay.
no.
Yeah, it's like like she was Cardi B was a stripper too. Did it affect
Yeah,
her? What she's doing? She has a following.
no, and but she wears that proudly.
Right,
She's never walked away from that.
right,
You know what I'm saying? She never denied it. She never lied about it. She was listen. You got to make your money. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't got no complaints over that.
right.
You know what I mean? He's 50 years old. Who
Yes.
cares? All right. Well,
Yeah, I don't think it affected him. You know what I'm saying? It's like
no,
he
no, he
still
doesn't.
records.
And I get that. Anyways, let's get off of this because I want to get on Yachty real quick, but
Okay.
before we end the show,
Yes.
I guess okay.
Yeah.
I looked at this from both perspectives. Now, to him, Rapper's Delight, he said was whack. To me, it was a song that you could play in the club and people were still dancing to it. Just like the message, even though it actually really does have a message in the song,
Right.
you could still be in the dance club and dance to it. You know what I
Right.
mean? It had a funky beat. Um the argument that he was making, and I'm trying to look at this from his perspective before I go all out on this dude and before you go all out on this dude. The perspective that he was looking at it as is that they were mumbling as well.
No, they wasn't.
Exactly.
He's
But that's the
totally
perspective because I want our young, if we have a young audience, I want our young audience to know we're not going to disrespect something and we don't do our own homework. And he is a horrible rapper. Um, I mean, go pick a freestyle and all of them are corny.
right.
Especially the one he did on what was the podcast? Kev, the white dude.
Oh, Bootleg
Um,
Kev.
yes, bootleg Kev. All right. He did a freestyle on that, and Kev was amping him up like that shit was hot.
I don't know why
Listen,
he was on there, but
if we ever got to that level, and we had
when
rappers on here,
when we get to that level,
when we get to that level, and we don't have to pay them, thank you, Vlad, for fucking up the game. Um, you know, if they freestyle and I'm not feeling it, I'm not gonna be yo, okay, go, yeah. I can't. I
right,
can't. If something doesn't attract us, we just that's it. There's nothing else. So in my head, I see where these young cats are going to make an argument of what Little Yachty was saying to help him out. Now, we're going to make the argument. Fuck him.
right,
Okay? Rappers delight. Now, in my perspective, I like the remake better with Redman and EPMD, but
right.
that's my
Yeah,
generation.
I never liked that one.
You never
And
like that one?
I love El Nino. I have the album. I
Yep,
never
yep.
liked that rendition.
Okay, but that's mine. I like it. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
But I still love the original. I still respect it. This is what crafted. That's like saying that you don't like DJ Red Alert. You don't like DJ Clue. I mean, these are pioneers. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like Grandmaster Flash. These are the guys that built the foundation.
Facts.
Now, I don't know. I don't know. See, I didn't even know that. I don't watch him like that, but I appreciate you saying that. He does that to everybody. Thank you, Nash, for saying that because I did not know that he did that for everybody. I'm really not a big
Right.
podcast dude with him.
Mhm.
I don't like his style. I don't like his setup. I don't like none of it. So I don't really watch him like that. But I had to watch this Little Yachty review for this episode, and I was disgusted. 90s rappers were whack. Okay. Um Again, late 80s, NWA, Run DMC, LL Cool J, Beastie Boys. These are the people who built the
Yes.
foundation. Do you know how hard it would have been for acts like Dog Pound and
Mhm.
West Coast Connection and all that to come out if it wasn't for NWA?
Right.
They literally, and I know people say Ice T is one of the originators as well when it comes because he was repping Cali, even though he's from East Coast.
Right.
He was repping Cali,
Yeah.
and he was repping for all the Bloods, all the Crips. He knew all of them, and he was a drug dealer. I respect that,
Right.
but he's another one that built the foundation. He just went in a totally different direction.
Right.
But these are pioneers that literally built the foundation of what we know as hip hop today, and our legends. And some of these new guys are keeping up with keeping that legacy alive. The rest of y'all are just trash mumble rappers that 20 years from now, your music won't even be replayed. Yet from the 80s, we are still playing those songs
Mhm.
today.
Yep. And
And
being
I don't
sampled.
I don't think that they'll be played 20 years from now. I don't think we're going to hear anything of Kodak Black. I don't think we'll hear anything from any of these guys. That's just my opinion.
I'm gonna take a more mature approach to this. I mean, I could easily go off on Yachty, but I want the young generation to notice, like when they're watching this back, 1982, right? Michael Jackson comes out with Thriller. I was 6 years old. My introduction to Michael was the Beat It video, right? There used to be a video show that came on Friday nights in the 80s on ABC called New York Hot Tracks, right?
Mm.
And every week they would premiere videos from Cyndi Lauper, Prince, Michael, Madonna, whoever. That's the era that I came up in. I was born in 78, but my introduction to Michael was 1982 when Thriller came out, right? So I was
Mm.
6 years old at that point. I didn't know about the Jackson 5. I didn't know about, Rock and Robin and I Want You Back, Heartbreak Hotel, all that. You know what I'm saying? So my only knowledge of Michael Jackson at that point in '82 was Thriller, and then finding and then watching like the Motown 25th anniversary and seeing, oh, he got brothers, his five brothers on stage and they performing, and you got Tito and Marlon and Randy and Jackie, and I didn't know who they was until I saw that Motown 25th anniversary show and
Mm-hmm.
had to go back and listen to them. The problem with this generation now, they don't go back and do their knowledge, don't do the
Mm-hmm.
history and the research. And I saw Yachty telling Bootleg Kev, "Oh, I did the research." What research did he do? Because if that was the case, you're not going to compare what mumble rappers are doing now to what Wonder Mike did with the Sugar Hill Gang back in what, 78, 79. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? You're not
79.
going to do that because it's not the same. They don't even sound the same. This is the issue where, and I've said this before, the young generation and the older and our generation, we have to come to that meeting of the minds in the middle and have that conversation where the older heads have to not put them down, but let them know about their history. If you want to be in this culture and in the hip hop community, they got to know who these legends are. You know what I'm saying? Because they set the groundwork for you, right? If there wasn't a Run DMC and a Curtis Blow and a Salt and Pepper, there would be no Cardi B, there would be no Megan Thee Stallion and Griselda. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And the thing is, they don't want to know their history. They want to go off and do their own thing without having that knowledge. Even the records that they sample in records from Sting and don't even know where it came from.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
which is
saying?
crazy.
Back then, it's like, yo, like when I heard Chic and they come out with Good Times. Oh, I know the sample for that. That was used by the Sugar Hill Gang. Rapper's Delight. This is the vinyl. Okay, OG copy. Right? When we hearing joints, when I'm hearing Men in Black, Will Smith,
Mm-hmm.
that was sample. That was from Patrice Rushen, Forget Me Nots. I have the vinyl for that as well. A lot of these records I grew up knowing because of the artists already sampled records, so I already have the OG copy, and I know the samples already. They
Mm-hmm.
don't. These kids are like sampling records, and they don't know where. I heard a record the other day from last year that some new artists they sampled the Mobb Deep Quiet Storm, and I'm pretty sure they don't know who Mobb Deep is. You know what I'm
Probably
saying?
not.
So
Probably not.
we have to do better as the elder generation to teach these kids coming up now who these legends are, who Sugar Hill Gang is, who the Treacherous Three is, okay, who the original Shy Rock is, Roxanne Shante.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not, Wikipedia is not going to teach them what they need to know. We got to show them. You know what I'm saying? We got to give them that knowledge like it was given to us. Because if I never saw the Motown 25th anniversary special, maybe I would have never known who Jackson 5 was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, eventually, but you wouldn't have known what the groundwork was and where Thriller came
Right.
from.
But it's like even now, right? When we talk about Jay-Z, when Jay-Z his last album was 444, and when that album came out, there was a lot of young heads that they wasn't around in 96 for Reasonable Doubt. That's
Yeah.
30 years old this year. They wasn't around for that. So they only know Jay for 444 and the stuff he's doing with the NFL. They don't know about Reasonable Doubt and In My Lifetime trilogy, Blueprint. They wasn't born for that. But they gotta
Yeah.
go and do their research and not come out on platforms and say idiotic shit like that. You
Yeah,
know what
but
I'm saying? And just the fact, the way that he went about it, and it's like he's mimicking the lyrics to Rapper's Delight. It's like he's making fun of what Wonder Mike and them was saying on that. It's like that's so disrespectful to the for you to be a part of this culture and calling out the Chico gang like that.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And meanwhile, it's like what song have you done that you have a hip hop quotable?
None.
That's my whole thing. It's like if you're gonna take shots at the legends that came before you, what do you have to offer us? Does
Nothing.
anybody know your lyrics or a song on an album that you did, a memorable performance that you have? You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's too easy to bash them, but they're misinformed and they gotta learn their history because
And I
I'm seeing it too many times now.
and I would love to sit down, especially like bring some of these young cats on this platform and sit them down. But the problem is ignorance. They don't want to learn. When Jay, like, and we hear it now, back in the day, Jay was trying to give game to Little Wayne. He was
Right,
trying to give game to, all these other cats, and they didn't want to listen to him because they were young and they were like, man, fuck this old head. He don't know nothing.
right.
Not realizing what they went through back then, the turmoil that they all went through. And look at today, they are still fighting for their publishing, their rights, their everything, just like Teddy was saying, that we talked about in the beginning. So it all also comes up to that is, do these kids want to learn?
There's some that do, but the majority of them, and the fact that he has a fan base and they're gonna look at that interview and agree with what he's saying without even going back and listening to Rappers Delight and the Sugar Gang music is sad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because it's like the older kids need to know, like, yes, this is their time. With every genre, with every generation, there's gonna be a time for the younger heads to shine. But at the same time, the younger heads need to know that if it wasn't for these legends, you wouldn't be here doing
And
what you do as artists, making a living and a career off of it.
what's crazy is that, like, new alternative bands, like, they never say, oh, when Nirvana was doing it, they were trash.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? Oh, when the Butthole Surfers were out, they were trash. And I just don't get why only in hip hop do we disrespect legends. You never hear Metallica. They might not like each other, but you never hear Metallica say, "Oh, uh, I hated, Black Sabbath. I hated U2. I hate." They don't say that, and if
right,
they do, it's private.
right.
You know what I mean? But in hip hop, we just screw them. I don't
I'm
care.
I'm I'm starting to see it in R&B too. Like this, I've seen Tank and
Yes,
Jermaine Dupri talk about like in R&B now. There's no more bridges. There's no more hooks. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's short songs and it's just their lyrics and then that's it. They're
yeah,
going straight. And R&B is starting to. I'm starting to see it more in R&B, but in hip hop for whatever reason, it's too prevalent. And again, like it has to be a time where both generations have that conversation moving forward. Like yo, like don't diss the Sugar Hill Gang because if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be here right now.
I
There was
know.
a time when America thought that rap was just a moving fad and it was gonna die, and we're here 50 plus years, and hopefully
Hmm.
we're here another 50 plus years.
Yep.
Okay, this is like the biggest movement on the planet. You know what I'm saying? And
And
and it's not dying down at any point. You know, you have
no,
you have hip hop artists being inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Even when you have Gene Simmons come out and say he don't want our kind in the hall, we're still having the legendary artists like Tupac and Biggie in the Hall of Fame. And this year, hopefully, Wu Tang, Lauryn Hill, they deserve to be there.
um,
Yeah,
I
I know how you feel about that. I do feel like Lauren, even with one album, I think she
okay,
deserves to be there.
all right. It's one album. Okay,
Hey,
legend, classic. I get it.
compare if you want to get on people. I love the Brat. She got one good album, and Jermaine Dupri messed up her career with all those other albums. She should have cut ties with them and start working with other producers.
I
She didn't
get
do
it.
that. She was
I
very
get it.
loyal to Jermaine, very loyal, and I love the Brat. But she got one good album, and she could have easily been in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame right now.
Yeah, yeah. But I just
But that goes to show you the impact Lauren had with one album,
yeah,
one
yeah.
solo album, and one
Well, not
one
not one
fantastic
album. I mean,
sophomore album.
she had the Fugees, and she did. I agree with you what you said last week on the podcast. she did have a huge influence and success on the Fugees album.
Right.
If she was not on that album, I don't think it would have sold the way that it
No,
did.
it
I
wouldn't have.
don't think that Clef could have held that album together without
No,
Lauren.
not
Um,
10 million. Like Wyclef is a dope artist in his own right, but not for this sophomore album for the Fugees. Nah, they wouldn't have made
yeah.
10 million with
Oh
just
yeah, that
Wyclef
first
bars.
album, please.
Yeah,
Like
that was
even
bad.
if you're a hip hop head, please do not
That was
listen to
bad.
that first album.
Trust me, I
They
had it
were
and I got rid of it. It's
yeah,
no good.
yeah. They were trying to find their lane. It's the same with Mobb Deep.
Mhm.
Their first album when they were
Juvenile Hell.
juveniles,
Yeah,
they were trying to find their lane. And
yeah,
it's clearly you can hear that. And then when they came out with theirs, because again, I'm a Mobb Deep sophomore
yes.
album, it's fire.
Gotcha. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So as far as disrespecting legends and all that, I just can't do it. I might not like every legend out there, or um I might not like the fact that Lauren is being inducted into the Hall of Fame, but if it's deserved, if a majority of the people think it's deserved, I'm not going to say anything. It's just my opinion.
right.
You know what I mean? Um Jay-Z being in the Writers Hall of Fame. He doesn't write. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, who's going to disagree with it? He's
Right.
he's one of the
I just
greatest
I do
rappers.
want to say I think overall there is total disrespect for the 80s. 80s rap, the whole decade. I've been on platforms before where we have people that they consider themselves hip hop heads, but they don't even like the 80s rap.
Yeah,
You know
you
what I'm saying?
got
And I'm like, the old school did not start with Wu-Tang Clan and Onyx.
no,
Okay. Like
no.
we had a whole 10-year decade before the 90s came in. And the problem is because there was so much emphasis on the golden era, it's like people totally forget about the 80s. I'm like, so
Yeah,
don't forget
no.
about Rakim, EPMD,
Yep.
BDP, Big Daddy Kane, Slick
Oh,
Rick,
Daddy
Salt and
Kane.
Pepper. All of these artists that people love came from the 80s. They didn't start in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like there needs to be more recognition on the whole 80s as a decade for hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm an 80s baby. Like I love the pop. Even the pop music was better in the 80s to me. You know what
Oh
I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah,
But
definitely.
when
Freestyle
it comes to
music,
yeah,
R&B. Yeah. I
yes, when
I
it
will
comes
put
to
on
the
80s R&B before I listen to 90s R&B.
oh
And
man,
90s is
I don't,
my generation.
man, you're saying a lot of shockers tonight. I love 90s on R&B.
Yeah, no, I do too, but I find myself listening to more of that 80s vibe. You know
Okay,
what I mean? Now, 90s R&B, like when we start talking about
mhm,
groups and all
right,
that, then yeah, I would rather listen to 90s. I mean,
right,
good loving body rocking, knocking
yeah,
boots. How is
yeah,
that
yeah. They
not
sound
how is that not
yeah,
one of the greatest R&B songs?
yeah.
You know what I'm
Well, to
saying?
me, it
So,
is. I think it is one of the best
but
in the
it's not
90s.
on that list, but Mariah Carey made it on the list.
Bro, that that list is crazy, bro.
That list is
Um,
super crazy.
the the 80s as a whole has to be respected. Run DMC was like the very first rap group that was successful mainstream wise that opened the door for everybody else to get like shoe deals and all that and endorsements. And I don't know why people stood on the 80s, but that has to stop.
Yeah, I mean, even
When
Jay
we if we're
started in
gonna
the
talk
80s.
about Mount Rushmore and putting Rakim on Mount Rushmore and G rapping them, they all came from the 80s. They didn't start in the 90s.
Yeah. And Rakim, um, paid in full. That's where I start people. I'm like, look, if you want to hear hip hop in its entirety in the 80s, instead of choosing a group, Rakim paid in full.
Right.
And you'll get 80s and where all these multi-stacking syllables came from.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Beastie Boys
Mm-hmm.
started Def Jam. LL started Def Jam.
Yeah.
These are pioneers. Run DMC. Like and I don't get why people. I dare somebody to go in a full white crowd and say that Beastie Boys was garbage in the 80s. I
Crazy,
dare you.
crazy.
You ain't walking out of there. That's like saying in a group full of black people,
Mm,
Rakim and Big Daddy Kane were trash
right.
in the 80s.
You got, if you love Rakim, you gotta say it's the early stuff they made in the 80s.
Their
The
early
90s
stuff,
is when they broke up.
the
Same with G
only
Rap, same with G-Rap and Polo.
yeah, the only one that I didn't like, but again, I can't disrespect the legend, but the only one I never really liked was Melly Mel. I
Okay.
wasn't a big fan of Melly Mel. I don't think he ever really had a dope lyrical career
Yeah.
or any of that. And then when he went after Benzino trying to stay 80s, it was terrible. But
Eminem, he had to beef with Eminem too.
yeah, 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 he went after M, yeah. But it's like anybody else, I always tell them Big Daddy Kane, just go listen to Smooth Operator and tell me you still
Bro,
don't feel that vibe.
bro. I remember Christmas '88. I got Long Live Kane on cassette for Christmas. That was like one of my Christmas gifts. I always remember that because and that was like one of my favorite rap albums ever. It was like his first album when you had Set It Off and Ain't No Half Stepping and Word to the Mother. And oh, that's a classic album. Like, how do you not love
Yeah,
'80s rap?
yeah.
Ray and Snoop did
You
not start hip hop.
no,
You know
and
what I'm
that's
saying?
what
You had NWA come out in '88 with their classic first album.
yeah,
Okay, there wasn't no Chronic back then. We didn't even know what the Chronic was back then.
no. And again, I think that Rakim's Paid in Full changed the trajectory of the direction that hip hop was going in.
Right.
NWA changed the way that groups were formed and were fighting back. Yes, Public Enemy was up there trying to do their political thing too, but nobody did it like NWA. Just like in the 90s, no group on planet Earth did it like Wu Tang.
Right.
So, again, we should do a whole 80s episode
Yeah. We got to.
just to show,
We
you
got to.
know, and just I'll give people albums or just straight songs. If you don't want to sit there and waste your time and trying to get into that 80s vibe, I'll give you singles.
I'm giving albums. Like,
Well,
check
yeah.
out this
But
album.
what
I'm
I'm
giving
saying,
albums.
I can do whole albums as well.
Mhm.
Anybody that says Straight Outta Compton is not a good album,
Classic.
it's
Classic.
classic. You know what I'm saying? But 80s is so disrespected. And again, like you said, it didn't start with Snoop. It didn't start with Pac. It didn't start with
Right.
Big. It didn't start with Craig Mack. You know what I
Right.
mean? Those were early to mid 90s. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Just like anybody that tells me that, Illmatic didn't change the rap game, that's where I think the transition is
Right.
when you had Rakim's Paid
Mhm.
in Full,
Mhm.
you had great classic albums, but it
Mhm.
was Nas's Illmatic
Right.
that changed the
Using
trajectory at that time.
5 different beat makers for that album.
Yeah,
That wasn't done before. It was like we going back to the era of one artist, one producer. I like that. But
yeah,
when Illmatic came out, Nas changed that with
yep.
using 5 well-known producers.
Ooh, Schoolie D, yes.
Yes,
And
definitely.
Ice T admits that as well because everybody, even I did until he said that. I didn't
Yeah.
even know who Schoolie D was, but when Ice T was like, I didn't start gangster rap. That was Schoolie D. He was in our neighborhood. He was hot, and I
Mhm.
just mimicked his style.
Yeah,
And I mean, 6 in the morning, police at my door. Come on, man.
classic. Come on,
I just don't understand how people the colors.
Colors. Great movie too.
Yeah,
Good movie.
fantastic movie.
Yeah,
Um, but I don't know. I don't know how people can think the way they do and not give
and
respect to
this
the
this is
pioneers.
this is what Lil Yachty and his generation need to know. They need to know about Schoolie D and the Steady B,
Yeah,
okay, the Dane, Dougie Fresh. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's so many. There's so many artists that don't get that love. This is why we need to put more respect on the '80s.
It was that the name of his first album, PSK.
Yeah, PSK.
Okay,
That was a
Schoolie
record.
D.
I believe Mark Nash. I see Mark Nash with the vinyl for that. I believe he has that on vinyl. If
Okay.
Marky, still in here. I remember him showing that on his live stream.
All right. That's to me, we could do a whole 80s show.
Yeah,
Um, I would be more than happy to do that
for sure.
because I love 80s hip hop. I love 80s house music, freestyle music, all that.
You got that coming up
So,
too. You got a
oh yeah,
house
oh
music
yeah,
episode coming up.
oh yeah. They don't. They
Parkside
don't.
Killers, yeah,
They're not. There we go. Parkside Killers. All right. All
yeah.
right. Appreciate you, brother. I'm gonna go listen to that because I never heard that. I just heard like a couple of songs from Schoolie D that were available on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I see where Ice-T got his influence, and everybody's been influenced by somebody,
Right.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, even though Jay gets clowned a lot for it, he's also paying a lot of royalties for it. Is biting a lot of what you
Baby.
hear in the 90s came from the 80s, just like
Right.
a lot of what you hear today that they're mimicking their legends and they're saying the same lines. A lot of that came from the 80s.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Who got it from,
Yeah.
so it's a big circle. And I don't mind when people bite rhymes because you can tell where they're getting it from
Right.
and they're paying homage to their inspirations.
Right.
Freddie Gibbs got a song where he did that, where he did like a almost damn near the whole verse mimicking a Mace verse.
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking Killer Mace, you know what I mean? Old school Mace. But
Yes.
hey, that's them.
Ray said Illmatic, Influence, Ready to Die, Infamous, Purple Tape,
Yeah,
Door.
Purple Tape. Yeah, Do or Die, another slept on 90s
Classic.
album.
Classic.
AZ is just so slept on, man.
Definitely.
I don't feel the sequel was as strong, but it's still a good album.
Right.
But Do or Die, I put in that as classic album.
Sure. For sure.
Like I can't. Yes, it was written. Yep. I mean that's right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, people listening to Redman, like he's been dropping all those freestyles on YouTube, which have been fire. Redman still got it.
Oh yeah.
My God.
Sure.
Meth has been coming back too.
He's on the new Jay Worthy song Visions.
Yeah, that's what I just heard. I was like, Jesus, meth is like, I don't know what you smoking, meth, but keep smoking it because it is fire.
Good old Takal.
Yeah, he is coming with fire.
Yeah.
I'm from DC. We all like all music.
Yeah,
man.
Caribbean. I'm Caribbean. My family plays different music. That's what we played in the household. Different soul, soca, reggae.
I'm black and German and was raised Puerto Rican. My stepfather was Puerto Rican, so I grew up on merengue, salsa, reggaeton, just having a good time.
Yeah.
So that's why the only music I don't like, I don't disrespect it, but I don't like country. That's to me. Anything else, I'll fucks with it.
Oh yeah.
R&B especially. Another hot take that I got that'll probably blow your mind. I feel like The Weeknd is this generation's Michael Jackson. He is going to be a legend 30 years from now.
I agree. I feel like he's the best pop artist now.
Yes. I'm not saying
I don't feel like nobody will beat Michael. I feel like Michael.
I'm not saying that he's Michael. I'm saying for this generation, like my son, will be digging in his crates. 30 years from now.
He's great. He's Weeknd.
And my son's 15. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like 30 years from now, we're still going to be hearing The Weeknd playing out of the cars. And it's going to sound dated, but they're still going to be playing it because it's so good.
Facts.
People slept on his last album was fire.
Hurry Up Tomorrow. Great album.
Fire. And Dawn FM people sleep on.
That was good
fire.
Too. Yeah.
The song he did with Madonna, he outshined Madonna.
That was fire. I think Playboy Cardi was on that record too.
Yep. Playboy Cardi was on there. He's smashing it.
Bruno Mars is great too. Definitely.
Yes, Bruno Mars, and he's still Bruno Mars is eating.
Yeah.
off of those Las Vegas
Mm-hmm.
residencies. Don't I feel bad if anybody sleeps on Bruno Mars
Yeah.
because he's
He's
still
money.
making his bread. We are still playing his albums.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Neo.
Neo.
Neo gets a lot of Las Vegas,
Yeah.
stays, and he's still killing it. Closer still being one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
But I forgot the name of that album. Can't remember. I'm too tired. I've been up since midnight, people.
To my Neo.
Yeah, Neo one where he had that song Closer on it. What was the name of the album?
I don't even remember.
I don't remember.
I
But the
know
album's
his
dope.
songs. I didn't listen to his albums, but I know like it's some of his hit records.
That album, my favorite song was Lied to Me on that album,
I
besides
remember that joint.
Closer.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's that.
Kenny Mack said Sade's my wife. Another one, a legend.
Oh, I
Going in the
love.
Hall of Fame. She
Yeah,
needs
and she's not. How is she not? You guys talked about
yeah.
that on the podcast as well, and
she's in the top 7, so that's a good look.
Yeah, but again,
He
her
said
music is.
Brown on the Weekend. I gotta go with the Weekend.
I
I
gotta go
like
with
Chris Brown stuff when he got older, when he came out with Deuces and the Fame album and Fortune and all that. Old Flame, New Flame. I like his latter stuff. Like I wasn't a fan of his like in the beginning when he was doing London and all that, but I gotta go with the Weekend because Weekend I followed from the Thursday mixtape all the way to now.
Yep, and that Thursday mixtape is still, that whole trilogy was fire.
Yeah.
Straight torch. Glass Tables, still one of my favorite songs. Oh my god. Just fantastic trilogy. For me, listen, when you got grown men, thugs, bumping Kiss Kiss out of their cars, you know you did something right.
Yeah.
But when Chris Brown got older, he slipped. And I just don't. Ooh. I've listened to a little bit of Pink Floyd.
I have a friend, my friend from elementary school. Like when we were in junior high, I used to bring the Pink Floyd albums to school, like The Wall. You bring that to school, and he's Puerto Rican. So at that point I didn't know he was into those groups, and then like he put us on to Pink Floyd. So I fuck with like different rock groups and stuff.
What got me into rock was Aerosmith. When I first heard the Walk This Way.
Yes.
That's what slowly started to transition me. And then when I heard Sabotage, it had that rock and roll beat to it. And that's what started opening my mind to, rock. And I started digging deeper. I went back in history and I learned about Metallica. I learned about AC/DC. I learned about, all these different Black Sabbath, Pantera, yeah. I always say it wrong. I always want to say Panther for some, but like all those living legends. Again, you don't never hear them disrespecting each other,
right.
But yet hip hop does it with no problems.
Do you know what it is? I'm gonna tell you for the rock. I've seen for the rock community, they did have an issue with MGK because MGK came from Bad Boy. He's the rapper.
Yeah, and then he went over.
He switched his style and he linked up with Travis Barker from Blink-182, and they did Take It to My
Band.
Huh?
I'm sorry, Blink-182, such a great band. Me and my wife have seen them live. Fantastic show.
They dope. And when he did Take It to My Downfall, he got a lot of hate from the rock community because they felt like he's not a true rock star. Like he came from another genre into rock. But he got like his accolades for it. You know what I'm saying? Billboard Awards and all that, Grammy nominations. But I do prefer him as a doing rock than the rap thing. Like he good as a rapper too. Like he had a song with DMX that I don't think it ever came out, but like he got like he's from Cleveland, so he got like that fast flow like Bone Thugs. But I do prefer his music as him doing the rock stuff.
Yeah, and there's even videos of him singing like Latin, Mexican. Like he's multi-talented. I'll give him that. I do like a couple of MGK songs. I ain't
Mhm.
13th Floor,
Yeah.
um, Pressure. I
Hmm.
mean, there's a couple. He's
Yeah.
got one with Yellow Wolf that I like too. I
Yeah.
forget the name of it though. I am horrible with names, people. So just learn that.
It's all
That's
good.
why Triburrow's here because he'll save my ass most of the time. Um, but yeah, I like some of his stuff, and I thought him going at M
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
took balls. I'm
Kill shot.
sorry,
Yeah.
not a
It
lot
was
of
good.
people.
It
Yeah,
was good. Yeah.
and not a lot of people go after M like
Yeah.
at all because they just don't even want any problems with the white boy.
Yeah.
And you know, uh, when the game said he was better than M, I
Hmm. Yes. I
eh,
got The World is a Ghetto on vinyl. Classic War album.
he
Definitely.
messed with that. Metallica actually is one of now I get a lot of hate for this hot take. The Black Album is my favorite album
Um,
from Metallica, but that's to real rock fans. That's
mhm.
supposedly when they went commercial. I think they went more commercial after with Load and Reload is when
Okay.
I felt that Metallica really started to once they did that, give me fuel, give me fire. I just thought that they lost their soul on that album. To
Right.
me, Unforgiven, Wherever I May Roam, those were classic songs on that. And I don't think they've that Black Album was probably the last of their greats. I
Mm.
know people are always Puppet Master, Ride Lightning, and all this. Like that's
Mm.
their favorite albums. That's fine. Black Album is mine. It'll always be mine. I'm not changing my mind.
Okay.
So that's just me.
Right.
War, no, I do not mess with War like that. I know the singles, but I can't
Yeah.
tell you an entire album. I
They were
can't.
dope. Definitely. They another underrated band too. They were
Yeah,
dope.
I would have if I sat back and listened to it one day when I'm at work,
Mhm.
because I like to listen to albums when I'm at work because I
Right.
can't always go on my phone and skip the track.
Right. Right.
So I have to. I'm more in tune to listening to the whole album versus not listening to the whole album. I don't
Okay.
want to keep taking out my phone out my pocket. So
Right.
that's why I listen to a lot of albums all the way through multiple times before I give a verdict.
Right.
You know, um, just like I thought it's so close still. I still have a hard time with Alfredo or Alfredo 2. I still have it. I've
Mm. Yeah.
it's right there. It's right there on the
Alfredo
cuff.
2 was great.
It was,
Yeah.
especially empanadas.
Yes.
That's a- but Alchemist again, just doing his thing, man. I can't take that from
Mhm.
him. Um,
Facts.
but one thing I did want to say before we head off, first of all, thank you again, holding it down like always on
No.
last week's people. I'm telling you, it was a great episode last week. So make sure y'all go rewatch that. Make sure you subscribe to all three of us, the podcast channel. Triborough is damn near going live every night, having wonderful arguments with everybody. you you
Oh
guys are
man, I
killing me
try.
with your arguments, man. I love it though. Um, I
Yeah.
mean, I can't say enough about his channel, the gaming stuff, doing those old
Thank
school
you.
gaming. I think that's been a
Yeah.
long, fun journey. Um,
That's actually
but
me gaming because people feel like I'm just putting up video. No, that's actually my gameplay. It's actually
yeah,
me.
yeah. Glad you clarified that.
Yes.
Um, but you know, just go subscribe to him. It's a lot of love. I have been, I've been dealing with so much family stuff lately that I haven't put any videos out. But I do have a couple coming, and one of the ones that I want to just kind of blow it and say it here is I'll be doing 90s rap songs that still go hard today,
Mm,
but with 80s beats.
okay.
So that's one I'm working on. I'm working on a Disney kid that y'all forgot about that is actually a multi-billionaire.
Wow. Okay.
Um, but nobody remembers him unless you know the movie.
Right.
Um, working on the Styles P bars,
Mm,
breaking apart rhyme schemes. Hopefully, Styles lets me get away with using his bars like
mm,
Benny did and like Jada did. So I did appreciate that. Because in case y'all didn't know, I did reach out to Benny before I made a video about him, and
dope.
that's why that video wasn't flagged and copyrighted. But
Right.
I just got a thing last month. Whoever is running Big L's circle, out of all the respect I've shown for Big L, they flagged my video and copyrighted it because they think I'm making money off of it. So fuck
Crazy.
y'all, whoever's running his organization. Y'all are really taking away creativity. You
Right.
know, I'm not using whole songs. I don't get how guys are using entire songs and they're getting away with it.
Yeah.
But I'm using two bars, breaking them down and showing you how legendary somebody is. I mean, even Big Pun stuff didn't get copyrighted. You know what I mean? So thank you to Fat Joe for not copyrighting that. Um, I can understand whole songs and flagging them because you don't want somebody, but bars, couple bars here and there. Come on, y'all artists, y'all gotta let us eat too, man. Y'all gotta let us expand and show people why y'all are legends.
Right. Facts.
So, I got a lot of stuff in the works. I just gotta find the time to do it. But appreciate y'all sticking with us. And is there anything you want to say, Tribe, before we head out?
Just appreciate everybody, coming through and supporting what we're doing right now, and Mark Nash and Ray Lansky, Kenny Mack, Jay Luna, everybody. It's been
Yes.
great. It's been great to do.
Yes, man. I've been having a lot of fun doing this, and it takes my mind off of a lot of stuff. So I enjoy it. Y'all find out some hot, wild takes from me that Try's gonna yell at me when we when we get
Oh
off.
yeah, I cannot
But
believe some of the things I'm hearing tonight, bro.
hey, man, it's all good, man. That's who I am. Y'all can
Mhm.
fire off in the comments and disrespect. That's I don't
Please
pay any.
comment on his hot takes. Comment on what he said, please, because it's wow. Stillmatic was not a classic. That's crazy.
Hey, man, we all listen. We all different. If we were all the same, this world would be boring. There'd be no podcast because everybody be the same. Oh yeah, I like that too.
True.
So, that's just the way I look at it. I don't look at it as anything else. But
Right.
we really appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one. Salute, subscribe,
Right.
much love, like. We are trying to grow this channel so that we can eat together.
Yeah. Well.
And we're working on guests. We are just waiting for uh there we do have a good guest coming on, but he's waiting for some stuff to wrap up so that we can promote his
Right.
product as well. Cause
Right.
again, that's what we do here. We about the culture. Go ask Ray. Ray, we need the documentary. Love you, brother.
Yes. Yes.
Much
Salute.
love. See y'all. Peace.
Peace.